been 18 years plus now. In your opinion, how has Netvantage managed to survive since the great launch of 2008?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons. In terms of the work we do, there's been a demand for it. I mean, in terms of the services we provide and the relationships we've built. I mean, people they're still using Google. Now it's changing, which we've continued to look at, and they're using all kinds of different AI engines for it. But all the signal connection, all the content development, all the things we're doing, there's still the value to it. And so, we've got a service that's still in demand. So it can survive. Never perfect, but it can survive. B, I think the relationships we've built with our clients over the years have been the biggest reason. And we've got some clients on the roster, I mean, that have been with us since 2010. I mean, that's let's see, Chuck's watch, it's 2026. I mean,
Yeah, they could drive now.
Yeah, right. And so, we're 18, but some of our clients have been with us for many years, and I think it's the fast responsiveness. Sometimes it's not always perfect. We're the first to admit that. For the most part, we do a good job with the campaigns. We build good relationships, and people appreciate that. And we understand that because we own a business, we understand what their struggles are if they're a small to medium business. And if they're an enterprise, we've got that experience too. So we understand what it's like to work in those corporate layers and the demands that go with that, because you've got some of our clients that we work with are in the multi-billion-dollar range, and some are in the multi-thousand-dollar range. And I think we can understand that. We never promise too much. I think we deliver almost every time on our expectation. I think that's been some of the core principles why we've done well.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too. Like we were just talking about that earlier today, right? Like when you go back to the early days, just all the different companies we work with, and we've contracted out for God knows how many companies that, do web development and, different marketing agencies and things. And so many have kind of come and gone that were even around before us, some have come after us. And, at least in my opinion, one of the things that has stuck with me, and when I look at the companies that have stuck with us, is that everybody likes to stay in their lane. And our lane's changing a little bit right now. Sure, SEO is not necessarily what it used to be, but visibility and just being found online is the thing.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of a baby step to the right for us. Whereas I think companies who are like, yes, we can do that. Can you build me a website? Sure. Can we do that? Can you run a paid search campaign? Absolutely. Right. Can you get me to rank on Google? Yeah. Can we do email marketing? Yeah. Well, I mean, you can probably do some of those things. And depending on the breadth and the number of people that you have available in your company and where you're at, like, the truth is you probably can't do all of that well. Right. And I think inevitably it comes back to one of the points you're making. Like, we've stuck around for a long time because we don't promise things that we can't do. Staying in our lane, and I think their partners that have hung around a long time have known that they stay in their lane, and we're able to push business to them. They're able to push business to us, and that's why we keep keeping on.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I'm always first person. We'll never use the term subject matter expert in our proposals or our presentations because it changes too fast.
You're a wizard.
It can change within hours, and the things that we do, we try to stay on top of. I think that, and there'll be another change. We always said that, we're not naive enough to think that we're just going to keep making sure our clients rank number one on Google for the next 18 years. I mean, it's a stupid statement to say.
When we started this, Yahoo was probably bigger than
correct. Yeah. When I ran my first paid search campaign was an Overture, Yahoo.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that got overtaken. And so, I mean, it's I think if we continue to, as we continue to stay consistent with our service offering, our delivery, our response time, we've got a great staff that's been with us for 10 plus years to the line. I mean, that's made a huge difference.
Yeah. It's funny. That just made me think, in the early days, we used to have on our old office, we had the search engine graveyard, we called it, right? We had Ask.com, Lycos. We had all of the logos from all of the long since forgotten.
Lycos,
yeah. Everybody that used Alta Vista, like all these different places that were the search engine of the day that have all come and gone, right? And I guess when people look at it now, it's like, oh, well, Google's kind of losing its status. It's not going to last forever, right? So whoever comes out of this AI thing, it's just essentially a different iteration of the world of search that we've always had. So, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whoever ends up coming out on top, or maybe it's going to be a whole different world where there's just
know right now, right?
Maybe there's going to be 5 players for the next decade in this space. Who knows? But it's not really that different for us as somebody who's been around this long. Maybe somebody that's been doing SEO for the last 6 or 7 years, it's all about Google. But we've seen this kind of happen before where there's a big player, they're gone, big player's gone, big player's gone, big player's gone, and the game shifts. People also ask the SERP features that Google's put in over the years, right? Like, oh no, Google's taking my paragraph and putting in a people also ask or a short answer, like right at the beginning of search. In a lot of ways, AI overviews and just AI search in general is just an expansion of that.
Yeah.
So just figuring out how to navigate that is the thing. And that's the nice thing about, we don't have to worry about being the best web designers next week. We just need to figure out how to win this new game.
Yeah.
And since that's our focus, it's easier for us to do that than the we do everything shop down the street.
Right. I mean, I think the one thing too is that because you're playing in their sandboxes and their playgrounds. So what will happen inevitably, like we saw happen with Google, like what we saw happen with Facebook/Meta, like we saw happen with LinkedIn, like we will see happening, or now we're starting to see happen in the chat GPT with the ads. They have to monetize these things as they become public. This is the evolution of these things. And how that, we have to weave in those sandboxes. They're the utility. They really are. What matters, though, is bringing it back is that our clients is what's the best usage for them, and making sure that whatever our client is trying to do, whatever goals and objectives they're trying to accomplish, because I know it sounds so boring and cliche and whatever, it just is because it's got to be the right fit for what they want to do, whatever their budget is, and maximize those results. I mean, we often get these leads that come in and you cringe. You're like, yeah, you're not ready for this. Because we turn it down, we push it away because they're just not ready, because we don't want to create this campaign that's going to generate a whole bunch of activity and nothing. We will get clicks, like the videos. Sure, but nothing happens, and now all of a sudden they've paid, Google a bunch of money, they've paid us some money, and now they still don't have the same amount of leads that they're getting in. And I think our understanding of that, because at the end of the day, too, in 18 years, I don't know what the number is, but we've probably worked with, it's just nearly over 1,000 businesses probably, and I'm not exaggerating. So we've seen all these different verticals, from manufacturing to higher education to entertainment to, e-commerce type projects. So we generally have a good understanding of what is a good fit for the client, because that's what 18 years have taught us.
The future. Paid search is sort of your area of expertise. I guess, where do you see that going? We're sitting here in 2026. Obviously, the landscape of search has changed, but where do you see paid search in the next, couple of years at least? Because nobody's going to try to shoot out further than that, because God knows where we'll be.
I think it's a every 60-day window you're rolling in. I think a couple things are going to happen. I think paid search in its iteration isn't going to go away because of the zero-click search phenomenon, for the drastic reduction. And we're seeing with a lot of our clients, and it's just we have to adapt to it. Double-digit decreases in organic traffic, which is reality. Well, those clicks have got to go somewhere, and Google is still reliant on that at their $30 to $40 billion a quarter revenue pool from those clicks. So they're going to continue to put those sponsor results in the real estate share. Where I think it's going to go is that we're going to go now to more prompt-based bidding versus keyword variation bidding. We still do it now with the search queries, et cetera, with the clusters, but I think that's where it's going today. What's going, in the future, because I think prompt-based bidding is what the future is, including and obviously it's going to be like that with whatever Anthropic rolls out, whatever OpenAI rolls out in their new iterations, and whatever will come and take their place. I'm sure there'll be something. Kind of like Yahoo was there and Google overtook them in the late 2000s, early 2000s. But I think that, from the standpoint of how that looks is if I had to guess, and I'm sure I'll be shot down and wrong, but that's where I would go with that. From your standpoint, where you sit on the organic side and the overall we'll call it the visibility side. We can only throw out a dartboard of what's going to happen in 2 weeks, let alone 60 days or 2 months, right?
Yeah, very true. It's changing so quickly, and I think that's one of the things I've struggled with and tried to be super transparent with clients. And I think that's, again, one of the reasons we've been around for 18 plus years now, is the fact that we don't like to pull the wool over somebody's eyes and sell them untruths or half-truths about what's going on. And the reality is, and what really, really kind of rubs me the wrong way right now with what's going on in the industry, is so many people are just claiming to be experts at this thing right now, when the reality is, no matter who you are, unless unless you're on the back end of Chat GPT or Gemini or
On
Perplexity,
the inside.
and you literally know exactly how this works and can see the data on the back end, there's no transparency to how people are searching on this. So you don't know what you're showing up for. There's third-party tools that can look at it from the outside, but we don't know, for example, how people are searching on ChatGPT, what specifically they're asking them, and what to target for. So, you can kind of make your best guess and kind of, again, reverse engineer and see how you're tracking, but it's very difficult because so much of the activity is now happening on this third-party platform. The entire decision-making process theoretically could come into play. I could be looking for a new pair of shoes, for example, and I could put in all the specifications I want and keep asking more and more questions to Gemini or Perplexity or ChatGPT until it absolutely zeroes in on this is literally the best thing for you. They will never reach your website at that point, but once they know what they need, they might just go to Google at that point and search for that specific product. And if you're not showing it for that product, or they might, ChatGPT's recommendation might be, go buy this from Dick's Sporting Goods or MC Sports, or I don't know if these places even exist anymore, but just go there and you end up on that website and you have no idea what that decision process was. So when people are claiming expertise or like we are the absolute gurus of this at this point, you have to take it with a grain of
I
salt.
think the bottom line is, we're on the curve. Pigeons are on the curve. And I think the bottom line is that, we're on this curve and trying to learn the new technology. And it's going to go a little bit faster than the last time. I think it's going to go a little bit faster. We're learning this now. But I think the key difference for us is that, again, transparency with our clients and trying to find the best solutions for them, not the best solutions that are going to make our monthly agency fee go up. And that's the key for us. And we've always operated on that premise, and it's worked for many years.